Oop walks in on her boyfriend cheating on her with his longtime friend. I am not the op. That is you, Mayano Kuori. Posts can be found on our relationship advice. Off my chest and on her profile. Trigger warning. Infidelity. Less than. Mood spoiler. Sad but hopeful. Less than. Original post posted on October 21st, 2022 in relationship advice. 20F. Walked in on my boyfriend. 22M. Cheating on me with his longtime friend. I wish this were a joke. My heart physically hurts just typing this out. My boyfriend, who I'll call K, and I have been dating for 4 years. After high school, he asked me to move in with him in a different state. I agreed so that we could be together while we attended college. Over the years, we made amazing friends here, and he was just as kind to me as when we first started dating. Cute awkward text messages. Surprise gifts and flowers at least once every 2 weeks. We had a date night every Thursday after work as well. We were both from well-off families, so we never struggled financially. He also told me he loved at least once a day. Well, last week I got out of work early. I was in a good mood because Kay had sent flowers to my workplace and ordered me Chinese for lunch, because I had mentioned that I had a taste for it the night before. On my way home from work, I picked up some of his favorite donuts and went home. When I walked in the door, I could immediately hear the moaning. I walked to our bedroom to see that our friend Ellie was on top of him. My heart dropped. They'd known each other for 10 years, but they were never close. Or so I thought. They didn't notice me until I dropped the donuts in shock. They quickly covered themselves up, and Kay got up to try and explain the situation to me. But I wasn't hearing any of it. I packed a bag and left to my friend's house. I've been here for the last week trying to rationalize everything. He's been calling me and texting me, telling me he loves me and that he doesn't know why he did this. He's been asking me to come back. Where did I go wrong? Was I not satisfying him enough? I just don't understand why he would do this to me. I have no idea what to do moving forward. TL. Doctor, I got off of work early and found my boyfriend of 4 years in bed with his friend of nearly 10 years. I don't understand why he would do this to me or what I did wrong. Update 1 posted on October 21st, 2022 in relationship advice. Update. 20F. Walked in on my boyfriend. 22 meters. Cheating on me. First, I would really like to thank you all for all of your supportive comments and DMs. They really helped me to pull myself out of this hole a bit. For those wondering what excuse Kay gave me, he told me that it just happened. He said this really was the first time and it wasn't planned at all. That I should know this isn't the real him. He explained that she came over and that one thing just led to another and it was a mistake he'd do anything to fix. He's sent me pictures of an engagement ring as well. Ellie messaged me as well, saying how she never meant to hurt me and that it wasn't supposed to be this way. Kay is still bombarding me with messages apologizing and asking for forgiveness. After reading through all of your comments, though, I decided to take your advice. This morning I called my friend Ian and explained the situation to him. I asked him if he'd be willing to come with me and help me to grab my things while Kay was at work tomorrow morning. I explained the situation to my friends and family and they all agree that leaving is the best option. I will be taking all of my things and flying back home. My parents have sent me the money for a ticket and I'll be moving back in with them for the time being. I don't plan on telling Kay anything. He will just come home to a partially empty apartment. Thank you everyone for all of your wonderful support. Any future updates will be made to my page. For anyone interested. Update 2 posted on October 23rd, 2022 on OOP's profile. Update 3 20F. Walked in on my boyfriend. 22 meters. Cheating on me. Thank you all again for your supportive messages and kind words. It really means a lot. Heart. As planned, my friend Ian and I went back to the apartment in the morning when I knew Kay wouldn't be there to pack my things. It took about 3 hours in total to pack all of my things with Ian's help. We packed my things into our cars, then went to have them shipped back to my parents' house. To be honest, I'm still completely heartbroken. All of you called me strong and I thank you. But I don't feel strong at all. I feel as if I just lost half of my heart. I really did think he was going to be the man I would marry. So it was very scary when I got on my phone to look at the security cameras and Kay was throwing things around and acting like I'd never seen before. He'd always been very level-headed. At least to my knowledge. He called me at least 100 times, but I'm not going to answer. I decided to take your advice and block both him and Ellie. I'll be on my flight back to my parents tomorrow morning. Update 3 posted on October 26, 2022 on Off My Chest. Update I. 20F. Walked in on my boyfriend. 22M. Cheating on me with his longtime friend. Thank you everyone for such supportive messages. For anyone who didn't see the update on my page, this is what happened. As planned, my friend Ian and I went back to the apartment in the morning when I knew Kay wouldn't be there to pack my things. We packed my things into our cars, then went to have them shipped back to my parents' house. I got on my phone to look at the security cameras and Kay was throwing things around and acting like I'd never seen before. He'd always been very level-headed. So that was scary to me. He called me at least 100 times, but I'm not going to answer. I decided to take your advice and block both him and Ellie. I'll be on my flight back to my parents tomorrow morning. Sorry it took so long for an update. A lot of crazy things happened after I got to my parents. As I was getting settled in, it turns out that a mutual friend of ours told Kay what I was doing and he thought it would be a good idea to come to me in person to beg for forgiveness. To be honest, I almost had a moment of weakness until it became apparent that he didn't come alone. He brought Ellie with him. He said it was because he figured with her also guaranteeing that it wouldn't happen again, I would believe him and go back to him. Ellie also decided this was the best time to admit that she was pregnant and that Kay might be the father. Kay said that even if he was the father, he would only be there for the baby. That his heart would only belong to me. I was furious and heart was broken all over again. This also made it very apparent it was indeed not the first time. Because Kay wouldn't leave. My younger brother, 18 meters, also came out and started calling Kay and Ellie all sorts of things, and it led to a physical altercation. My little brother punched him in the face, and thankfully Kay took that as a sign to leave. This is all such a huge mess. I don't want to see Kay or Ellie anymore. I don't want to hear the excuses. My heart feels like it's been ripped apart. They can have each other for all I care. If I post more updates, they will likely be on my page for anyone interested. Really thank you all for all your kindness. Thank you for calling me strong even when I don't feel like it. Update 4 posted on November 4th, 2022 on OOP's profile. Update again I. 20F. Walked in on my boyfriend. 22 meters. Cheating with a longtime friend. I'm sorry for the late update. I've been going through a wave of different emotions. First, I'll address some simple questions I got. I didn't drop out of college. Thankfully, prior to this whole incident, I was already taking online courses. I do plan to move back, but in my own apartment later on. Now as for what happened next between Kay and I, he came back twice to try and apologize and ask me to reconsider. He reminded me about how I said I had never felt this way for someone before and that ending this would be a mistake, that we could work through these problems if I give him a chance. I told him that I don't plan on being a step-parent to his mistress's kid. So even if I dismissed the cheating, which I made clear that I wouldn't, I'd break up with him because of that. He began crying and saying he would talk her into getting an abortion if it meant that I would go back with him. I hate them both, but to be honest, hearing that made me feel disgusted. I told him that we were done and he needed to leave. The second time, my dad threatened him if he didn't leave the property. From what I hear now, he went back home. I'm sorry, this probably isn't an interesting update, but thank you all for your support. Your comments really help me stand my ground on this. Reminder, I am not the op. Edit. Removed post that people ask me to. I cannot imagine the thought process that tells a man to bring his affair partner along as he begs for his girlfriend to stay with him. Cheater and a liar. Ellie and he will continue meeting up. He was willing to do everything but stop interacting with his affair partner. And she was pregnant. He knew that and he really thought he would be able to bring her back. Good for Oop for standing her ground. It just happened. Bro, there are so many steps in between, came by to chill, and balls deep. Also, this is the only time. Quote. Except for those other times. Sometimes I read things like this and wonder, what is the cheater's thought process? Like, what makes you think any of that is even remotely a good idea? Especially bringing the girl you cheated with. And then on top of that, saying that she's pregnant? Blood really goes from one head to the other, huh? Imagine how little self-respect you have to allow to be flown to your affair's GF's parents' house, while said AP begs her to take him back and swears you were nothing to him. I can't imagine. Like, I know you need little self-respect to agree to be the side piece, but this is on a whole other hell deep level. Not to get gross, but if Oop walked in on them in the middle of the act, then that means her ex probably didn't finish. And if it was their first time, then how is that chick pregnant? Ellie def wanted to add salt to the wound there. BF dumb. Happy Oop is home safe. Sad but hopeful Oop will bounce back. Better than a lot of other endings. And that for Suor wasn't the first time. Who else thinks like the flowers or something is an indicator, but I just don't know how. How long between catching them and Ellie coming out as pregnant? This needs to be edited to remove the repeat blocks. He reminded me about how I said I had never felt this way for someone before. This is such a meaningless statement about someone you've dated since you were 16. Even if you dated a bunch before that. Is having security cameras inside a normal thing? Maybe it's a rich person thing. So it just happened, but she was already pregnant. This has been going on for months minimum. I'm pretty cynical. I wonder if he sent a surprise gift or flowers every time he cheated. WTF is it with people and that this isn't me excuse? Well, if I say that it absolves me of all responsibility for my actions and reverses the consequences of those actions. Bloody morons. Yes. It is you. Opted the right thing cutting them out of her life. Wow. I mean, OBV, her ex is the kind of genius you expect to see people write about, but wow. The audacity. K is probably a Kevin. It's always a Kevin. Also, bringing your AP to talk you up is probably the opposite of a power move. Update 3 is a duplicate of the first post. I don't know why, but Ellie definitely hates Oop. Ellie also decided this was the best time to admit that she was pregnant and that K might be the father. Makes me very much doubt he said this really was the first time is true. Good for Op for sticking to her guns. She's better off without him. Am I missing something? How does Ellie get a positive pregnancy test after only a week? Or even only 2 weeks? Most women don't know until 46 weeks. So much for it was the first time and just happened. If Oop had never walked in on them, they probably would have continued screwing each. I never understand how cheaters think that they can justify their cheating. I know that some people forgive and move on, but how do you move on when there's a baby involved? OOP's ex is so screwed up in so many ways. I hope Oop can find happiness someday with a good partner who will treat them well.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Eracast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.